Hi, I'm Ian Sanders, and here I am riding in from Heathrow into central London with Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary, thanks for joining me this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to talk about a few things in what's going on in your life now. You know, what I love about you is your plurality. You know, you're an entrepreneur, you have a wine business, you're now an author, you're now involved in brand consulting. You know, there's just
juggling.
You're juggling, which is why I love what you do. But it seems like there are no limits to what you do. I mean, yeah, you must be a guy. I mean, you thrive on change. Yeah.
It's essential. You know, one of the chapters in Crush It, my upcoming book, or whenever this airs, the book that's in the market, is what I call reactionary business, and it is the absolute 1000% core of successful business people, because everything changes.
Sure.
I mean, everything, every day.
And in your consulting business, VaynerMedia, really you're helping clients change as well.
Yeah, and more or less, we're really helping them tell their stories in a new media.
Right.
You know, they're so used to dictating to the consumer. What we're talking about is working the room instead of giving a presentation.
Sure.
And so we're helping them understand that. We're helping them understand the value of that. No more, buying these billboards that cost, a gajillion dollars.
Sure.
Whereas if they hired somebody for half the price of that to spend all their time interacting with people around their brand, they would get 9 million times the ROI.
Yeah, no, sure. No, absolutely. And what about for your career and your life generally? I mean, obviously, I look at you and I see, you've reinvented yourself so many times. Not like you've reinvented yourself and one thing's replaced the other. You've reinvented yourself on top of the other stuff you do. How
layered cakes, I call it.
Okay, cool. How conscious or how strategic is that, or is that just totally organic? It's some result.
It's globally
of Gary's
strategic.
DNA.
It's globally strategic, meaning I will never not add another layer to the cake if I want to eat it.
Right.
But not which layers. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do next, but I always know it's going to be something. It's just how I'm wired. I can't breathe instability.
Yeah.
And so I love stability financially and a lot of things, but creativity, the creativity of doing another challenge. And listen, it's not for everybody. I'm definitely stretched even now. And not...
You ever feel overstretched?
I mean, it all depends on how you define it. I mean, from the outside, I think a lot of people would feel that I'm overstretched. And would I sit here and say that every project I do probably hurts a little bit from me not spending all my time on it? Absolutely.
Right.
If I went cold turkey and spent all my time with Corked right now for the next 18 months, it would be one of the poster children of niche social networks.
Right. Now,
I have a great CEO in Lindsay there, and I feel confident. But of course, I feel confident in myself more than anything, right?
Yeah.
So they all, but I have, my brother AJ is my partner in VaynerMedia.
Sure.
Massively capable. Feel good there. Brandon, my right-hand man in Wine Library, retail, can handle that.
So you've got all those foundation stones there.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Do I feel in my heart that if it was me all the time, it'd be better? Of course. But at the same token, it allows me to scratch multiple itches.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm interested in. I have a lot of itches, as an entrepreneur, and it's about finding really good people to associate yourself with. I need a little more structure.
Sure.
I'm going to have to work on that for 2010, more structured meetings to give them all what they need. But I think I'm capable of doing that.
Because I can see that's the challenge, that, I get it, that this is some reflection of your DNA, but for the people around you, and maybe sometimes with your followers and your tribe, whether it's your clients or it's the Vaynerchuks or whatever, that, have they got every single reinvention of Gary V, or does it not really matter?
Well, it matters. There's a lot of original Vaynerchuks from Wine Library TV that are mad at me for doing all this business stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they feel like I've sold out, or that I wasn't authentic to them completely. The far majority of them knew who I am, knew who I was. But, I care, so I answer them one by one. There's some silent ones that scare me. They're the ones that scare me. Somebody who doesn't vocally,
because you can't communicate with them.
I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah, sure.
But at the end of the day, you can only do what you could do for yourself. You have to do what's right for your family. Nobody cares more about their community than I do, and I'll get dirty and answer every email and answer every tweet that I can. But, at some level, it's tough to please everybody, though I try like heck.
No, sure.
I really do, and I think that people appreciate that because you know, I could sit here and talk about it on video, and that's great. And there's probably a lot of people watching this for the first time, meeting me and saying, you know, doesn't feel anything about that statement. But the person that emails me and actually gets a response does. And so it's one at a time. You can't scale your caring verbally. You've got to go out and do it.
Yeah, sure. Have you found the kind of the crossing borders, as it were, from the safety of I mean, I know you were breaking new ground, but the wine industry and what you were doing with social media, which was very much something you knew back to front with, like the brand consulting. Has that brought any challenges as you kind of cross that border, as it were?
You know, the challenge is that a lot of people aren't as good as you are at what you think is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it comes very natural for me to engage with people because I love them.
Yeah.
I love the people. You know, it's not as natural to people to do that. So that's been a little bit challenging. That, you know, it's also changing people's mindset. A lot of corporate companies want to control their message and want to dictate. It's not a reality.
Yeah.
So breaking through and making them understand, listen, things have changed, and unless you change with them, you're going to be left behind. And I think bigger brands are starting to understand they can be put out of business. And that's probably a good thing.
Sure. But you're a great change agent. How do you deal with those people at the corporate level, whether they're clients of VaynerMedia or people you're dealing with anyway, that just can't deal with change? I mean, I deal with it in my business, you know. Aggressively, yeah.
You know, I'm in a place
bit of an arm twist and you know.
More like a punch in the face, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not really worried to get another client. I've got so much going on.
Yeah.
So either they listen hardcore, or, you know, we find somebody else to work with. It just becomes a scenario of I'm willing to be pretty darn aggressive and almost borderline, you know, politically incorrect with them.
Yeah.
To get it done, because, you know, at the end of the day, their brand executing on my vision is an enormous light shed on my brand.
Sure.
And I can't deal with people who aren't going to go out and execute.
Yeah. But if they don't get it, you just walk away.
That's right, and we have.
Yeah.
And we have.
Which I think is, you know, which is worth doing.
But we can afford to, and a lot of people can't. So I respect why somebody would hold on to those 3 clients that don't get it. But you've got to give a lot of thought to your legacy. Mm-hmm. And if a brand's repped by you and they stink, well, other brands aren't going to want you.
No, sure. So you have to keep that, keep that considered. It sounds to me, you tell me if I'm right here, Gary, that in terms of your whole kind of career and business development, you're really, you know, making it up as you go along in a good way, because you're being totally fluid and flexible. Who knows what's around the corner? Yeah.
Ian, right? I'm paying attention. You know, it's not like, you know, oh, whatever happens, happens. Oh, you know, I'm not a hippie.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a listener.
Sure.
You know, if society starts getting, you know, mobile, it's so obvious. So I've got to have thoughts about that.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are the kind of things, right?
No, sure. Because I think there's so much emphasis in traditional business practice on business planning, and the panel that I'm hopefully doing at South by Southwest 2010 is about unplanning your business, about just doing it, because and this is at the heart of Crush It as well. You know, we want to launch a little eBay business, we can do it in 5 minutes time. If we want to launch, you know, we can do things today, we can do things tomorrow. We just get on with doing them, and that is so much more valuable than actually you know, oh, let's put a business plan together. And I feel for my clients and for my friends that work in big corporations, they're doing like a 5-year plan. I don't even know 5 months, literally. Okay, now I'm a one-man business unit, so it's easy. That's easier not to have a 5-month plan. But
a 5-year plan is impossible in a world where what 5 years represents is so different than it used to.
Yeah,
we're going through a technology explosion, you know, and you just can't possibly do that.
No, sure.
I mean, think about what 5 years ago looked like.
Yeah. I mean, just technology.
No flip cams, no iPhones. You know? It's crazy.
So you'd be a fan of the unplan your business and just do it.
You know.
Yeah.
And my core strength is being a reactionary businessman.
That's cool. And we're going to end it there. Cheers, Gary. Thanks a lot.